Hello and welcome to this webinar. This is the first webinar from the series named Data Transformation. And in this webinar, we are going to take a look at a data structure which has got columns that are merged together and how to use this kind of a data structure to create a ValQ model inside Power BI. So let's get going. Let me introduce myself. I'm Kunal Jetwa and I represent Center of Excellence team. That's a quick snapshot of my core expertise and industry exposure. So about ValQ is pretty successful in a very short span of time. It's a very young product. It has won the Financial Modeling Award in 2020. It can support a lot of analytics around simulation planning and visualization. And it is actually a custom visual that sits on Power BI. And most of you are aware of ValQ because it is also featured in the Editor's Choice tools available on AppSource. Customer logos, some of the best customers that are using ValQ, some of the top ones. This is the agenda for today. We are going to look at the data structure, understanding a little bit about the structure, and then we are going to have a live demo where we will do some data transformation activity and consume the data in Power BI for ValQ. Then we will take a look at ValQ and the offerings that it brings for business users and how to get started with ValQ and something about the resources and documentation available there because ValQ is a self-service tool and there's a rich pool of resources and documentation available in forms of documents, in form of videos, in form of blogs, and many webinars. And then finally, there will be a couple of IDs where you can raise your Q&As, if any. So today we are going to look at a data structure which has got two columns merged together. So individually, there are two data tables or queries, which we can call, and these represent a column that gives us quantity of two different years, as you can see. And what we are going to achieve is we are going to merge these two data structures and we are going to create a new data structure that will have both these columns represented by two columns. So we are going to have a merge column. And let's take a look at a live demo on transforming this as well as consuming this inside Power BI for ValQ modeling. So time for a quick demo.
So we are now on Power BI Desktop. Let's quickly get ValQ from Microsoft App Source. Let's type in ValQ here and click on search. We will get ValQ Collaborate. Let's add it. And we should be able to see ValQ in the visualization pane. So let's pin it. Now it's a part of other visualizations from the same pane. Now we need data. So let's click on get data. And in this example, our data source is from Excel. Let's click that. You can see we have got four data sources. We are going to use merged columns. Let's open that. Now this view is quite familiar with all the Power BI users. We have some dimensional data, some dimensional tables. There's a date master, which is also a date dimensional table. We also have two fact tables, right? So let's get all of them. Though we will not use any relationship between the date master and the fact tables, but still we can get it inside and we will take it to Power Query Editor. So let's click on transform. So all our dimensional tables and fact tables are inside Power Query Editor. Now we will create a merged query, a merged table which will have two columns merged, right? So both the columns are sitting right now separately in two different queries, which is sold units 2018 and 2019. And this is the column we are talking about. So we are going to merge this column and create a new query. So we'll click on merge queries, create a new merge query. And let's merge this with 2018 and the reference or the keys for merging to create a unique row value will be channel, region, item code, and period. Similarly, we will match this with channel, region, item code, and period. Now you can see that all the rows are matching. Now a new query is created, and here we have got the entire table sold units 2018 here, and we are only going to get this column merge, right? So I don't want to use this. I generally do not prefer using this because I want to keep the header of the column intact without any prefix. So now we have got 2019 and 2018 quantities. Let's take them and bring them next to just before the class column, product class column. So we have got channel, region, item code, the quantities, and other hierarchies also, right, including period. So we can name this as sales volume for 2018 2019. And now we will not need 2018 and 19 separate queries any longer, so we will just right click them and uncheck the enable load option. Now let's close and apply. So we have got our queries after transformation inside Power BI desktop. Let's take a look at the relationship view by clicking the model option here. In this view, we can see that we have got all our dimensional tables on top. We've segregated and positioned them on top, and we have a fact table, that's the merged table, that's sitting here. So let's create a star schema. We are going to bring the item code and connect it with item code. So a one-to-many relationship is formed. Now we will do the same with category dimensional table. Product category will get connected with product category. We have got channel for channel, and finally region for region. So we have this date master, which is also a date dimension, but we have a date value here. And here we do not have any value which is in date format. The period which stays here is a text value, which cannot be directly related with the date master as of now. Even if we break the date master in several hierarchies like month, and we give the name of the month, there will be a wrong cardinality or else a many-to-many relationship, which will have a very ambiguous kind of data flow between various data, right, based on the period level data. So we will avoid that for now because this example or this structure is not fit for using date master in the schema. So this schema is pretty much ready. Now let's click on the report view, and we will now be launching ValQ. Once ValQ is launched, we can expand this throughout the canvas. Now, in order to activate ValQ, we will need data series. So 2019 will become our baseline and 2018 will become our comparison. Now we will need some categories. So let's break the model by region and further slice it by channel. And finally, we can have a category, right? Now we need time period. So we have got the period column from our fact table. Let's bring the period column and place it on the time period bucket. Now ValQ, as soon as you bring in the values in the value bucket, you will be asked to log into ValQ workspace. So let's click login and say OK. Once you log into ValQ's workspace, you can see the user's credential here, right? So now we are on the model tab, and we can see there are two options here to create a model. First is create a simple model. It's more like an aggregation. And second one is an advanced model where you can use different complex formulas very easily and intuitively inside ValQ to create an entire business process with value drivers and derived results and KPIs. So we will start with a simple model here. So let's click on the simple tree. Now you can see that the model is automatically created by ValQ, which is basically broken down by region, channel, and product category, as you can see here. Now this is called a dynamic model because you can change the position of the hierarchies and it will dynamically realign the entire model accordingly. So let me get back to region and bring the original and retain the original design of this model. The very first node can have limited configuration options. So let's change the name to total sales volume. And you can see because it's a dynamic tree, there are no options to make any changes in the rest of the design or rest of the tree, right? So that's your simple tree, and what you can do is you can now take a look at the advanced tree. So let me click on duplicating this page and I'll name this as advanced tree. We'll go to model and we'll click on new. So let me create the advanced model here. You can start creating a model from scratch. You can call this as North America and you can bring the values of North America, which is US Canada, right? And then connect this with another regional model or regional value, Europe, and bring the source value for Europe. And now on the top node, you can say total sales volume. And you can just say sum of children and finish it. So that's a typically advanced model, but it's a very simple or a simplified advanced model. It's not too much of complex formulas that we use. But what we can do is instead of having a quantity, we can create the invoice value in this advanced model. So let's create a new advanced model and override this one. Now we are going to say get me the value or the profit for hair oil, which is one of the products, right? I'll say finish, and instead of product category, let me bring in the product directly. So we'll go to the product dimension, which is here, and we are going to get the product, right? And we are now going to add a couple of nodes. So this node can be called as revenue, and this node can be called as cost, right? And within revenue, there's one thing that we can add in hair oil is the volume. And now we are going to say the volume should come from, probably we do not need region and channel for now. We are just focusing on the product. So the volume will fetch the data from the source, and we are going to say hair oil. Say okay. So this is hair oil volume, and now we need the cost. To get the cost, we need the cost price, and to get the revenue, we need the sales price. So we have got the price option here, and if you carefully observe the product dimension, we've got the cost price and the selling price against each product. So probably we will need one more node here to get the revenue. Here we are going to get the price, and we are going to call this data from the source. So let's call the data from the source, but first we will need price as a new series. So let's get sum of price, or maybe average of price is perfect, right? And now we are going to get price for hair oil. So it's not going to come from the source because it's a new series. So we are going to call the data from another dimensional table. So we are going to use formula, and we will say ds dot. Now you will see average of average price, and you're saying dot. Now you're going to say hair oil dot get CPI. So you're going to get the current period index value, which is nothing but the average price of hair oil for each of the rows. And now you're going to say, give me average, and this is good. So the only thing that you need to now observe is whether you are scaling it properly. So we will scale it to none so that it doesn't show the price in millions or thousands, because price is a very small fraction of value, right? So we are keeping it none, and we are going to bring two decimals. We will give some prefix, which is dollar, and suffix per unit. Now we are going to say finish. So we are getting 1.25, which is price of hair oil, right? And similarly, we will get the cost also. So let's go to averaging this cost, and in the cost, we are going to get the cost price, right? And same as the pricing, we are going to get the costing, and now you have the average of cost price, and hair oil is here, which is our category. I mean, it is our product from the hierarchy category bucket, and we will get the current period index. And we are going to say, bring me average, right? And again, values, no scaling, two decimals, dollar per unit, and say finish. Now, volume can be used and multiplied with cost price to get the cost, and revenue will be volume times price. And finally, hair oil is going to be revenue minus cost, and that is going to give you total profit. So let's have profit, and profit could be the sum of all children. So we can add another product next to hair oil, and you can get the profit of hair oil and the other product, right, together. Then you will have revenue, which is volume. Let's add a formula. It's volume times price. Is this, and increase is good. Probably you can have summit, or you can even use formula for aggregation. Let's keep it sum of all period. I don't want the simulation on here because this is my calculated node. I'll say finish, and my price is going to be, I'm sorry, my cost is going to be volumes times my cost price. All right, this I will desire that a cost should be decreasing, so that's my desired trend. I can keep it sum of periods, and simulation can be turned off here. Now hair oil would be formula, and this will be revenue minus cost, right? This will again have no simulations, and I'll say okay. Now you can see price is sitting here. We can actually hide the cost price, and we can also hide the selling price by configuring them and choosing the display as hidden. And revenue can have a composite node, which is the price, and cost will have a composite node, which is cost price. Now you can see that there are composite nodes, cost price and price, which is selling price, and you can actually make changes here, simulate them, and see how your results are faring. You can even check and increase them in terms of value times price or value times cost, increasing the volume, increasing the price. So these are different value drivers. Volume is a value driver, cost price is a value driver, and selling price is a value driver. So how your value drivers change in your value drivers will impact the overall result of your key KPI. So here you're trying to find out how's your product hair oil going to perform if you give certain pricing iterations, certain volume iterations. You can have hair oil, you can have other products, just one beneath the other, and a total profit will be observed based on each product. This can be done for product, this can be done for regions, this can be done for channel. Depends on which category are you handling, which level of planning you're doing. You can do it a top level planning, you can do a bottom level planning. Totally depends on the user. So this is how we can make best use of a merged table where two columns are merged, and you can create a simple tree, you can create an advanced tree, you can even take a look at various depots that we have on our website, and you can see how complex models are easily built on ValQ, and you can have many examples for various domains of planning, bringing the planning from financial domain, from revenue domain, from sales, from marketing, from demand planning, operations planning, manufacturing, production planning, and a lot of other industry specific planning examples are also available. Now we will understand how ValQ should be interpreted and what is ValQ all about. It's planning, it's simulation, and it's beyond that. So let's take a look at the offerings, and let's take a look at the value adds that ValQ can bring for each functional and business user.
ValQ is a versatile tool, and its claim to fame started with what if simulations and scenario planning. And then came various evolutions in the product wherein ValQ started offering descriptive, prescriptive, and predictive analytics. So you can do a lot of advanced analytics like variance checks, sensitivity analysis, attribution checks, contribution analysis. Then you can do value driver based plannings. You can have your business process being modeled on canvas, and you can use ValQ to create a very complex model very intuitively inside Power BI. Its time series forecasting feature is straightforward and extremely powerful. It can give you baseline in few seconds and can actually do planning, budgeting, and forecasting using this technique. From the use case perspective, ValQ, it's a multi-purpose tool. It can be used by sales teams, operations teams, manufacturing teams, finance teams. It's not only a financial planning or budgeting tool. It's used by various domains of enterprises when it comes to planning, and you can do top-down and bottom-up planning with ValQ. It has got several options for those kind of plannings as well. So this slide will explain why ValQ is a serverless and a lightweight tool, as it does not need any IT support. A user can just plug in the data through Power BI and start consuming it inside ValQ. And that's what we are trying to explain with this slide. So any data that comes inside Power BI can be used by ValQ. However, yes, there are, just like other custom visuals or Power BI traditional visuals, ValQ will also interpret the data if it is structured properly. So today in this webinar, we started with discussing the first structure, like a merged column or a merged table. And throughout the series of these webinars, we are going to focus on different structures like appended structure, and various other structures also will be looked at. And then a user will be able to understand what and how best ValQ can be used when there are different structures available which holds your data. So in a nutshell, ValQ is all about intuitively visualizing, simulating, planning, and analyzing your data and your business like never before. On the screen right now, you would see certain important links, and they will help you to gain enormous amount of understanding and provide you a lot of information about ValQ as a product. We have got videos, we have got very rich resource in the form of videos, blogs, webinars, and documentation. We are also having presence on YouTube. It has its own YouTube channel with a lot of videos. And the interesting fact is that the documentation link covers everything scripted for the product in the documentation pane. We have got functions. We will provide you with logical functions understanding. You can see spreadsheet-like functions here, and they all can be used inside ValQ. We have got math function, finance function, and all several functions with respect to range, static identifiers, and additional series. So today, we spoke about a couple of functions, but do take a look at all the options available in the docs handle. The other part, very interesting, which helps all the users in their pre-purchase or in their evaluation stage to evaluate the product. So while testing, a user or a prospect, potential user of this product will actually go through all these videos, and these videos are like how-to videos. They'll help you to build the model, understand each and every feature and function inside the product very precisely. So they are all short videos, and it will help you to evaluate the product much faster and even learn the product features quickly. So that's about the documentation link. In case if there are any questions with respect to technical queries or any commercial query that you have, we have got our sales and we have got our support team to handle those queries. Their email IDs are displayed on the canvas on our slide. So thank you for participating in this webinar today. We hope that this webinar and the topic that was discussed in this webinar would have given you enormous insight about how this product could be made to best use. Thank you once again.